Hi everyone, welcome on board to Helper.tv.
The mopping up of the old Naira notes and the redesign of the new Naira notes has come with backlashes. But the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, has remained resolute. In fact, right now, Godwin Emefiele is bullshitting the Supreme Court. The case has been adjourned, but he cares less. He said he will not bow. He said what he has said is what he has said. And Femi Falana, senior advocate of Nigeria, has called this lawlessness. He said that the Supreme Court should make this as an example, should make Godwin Emefiele as an example. Lawlessness. Now, there are people who said that this policy is to crush Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presidential ambition, pointing out that Godwin Emefiele wanted to be president, but the cabals failed him, and he decided to do what he has in his powers. How true this is? Well, let us find out from Godwin himself. He has this to say. Do not forget to like and share this video. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel. I'll be here with you. We'll be listening to what he has to say. We'll analyze it. We'll deal with it word for word. Like and share this video. Subscribe if you are new here.
Now, on the Naira redesign policies, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as you may recall, the Central Bank of Nigeria received the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari on the 26th of October 2022 to redesign the 200 Naira, 500 Naira, and 1,000 Naira Nigerian bank notes. By the approval, the redesigned banknotes were to circulate concurrently with the old notes up to 31st January 2023, after which the old notes were to lose their legal tender status. However, given the need to improve the level of circulation of the new Naira notes, the President magnanimously extended the deadline by another 10 days to February 10, 2023 for old notes to circulate as legal tender. Currency management is a key function of Central Bank of Nigeria as enshrined in Section 2, Subsection B of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007. Indeed, the integrity of a local tender, the efficiency of its supply, as well as its efficacy in the conduct of monetary policy are some of the hallmarks of a great central bank. Due to persistent challenges that are inundating currency management in Nigeria and undermining our sovereign integrity, the CBN conducted extensive in-house analysis and consultation, which suggests the need for a policy to redesign some of the Nigerian banknotes. The currency redesign policy is also consistent with Section 20, Subsection 3 of our Act, which gives the bank the power to recall extant banknotes or coins following the approval of the President and a reasonable notice period. Our actions thus fall squarely within the bounds of the powers provided by the CBN Act, as we sought and got presidential approval and gave 100 days notice in the first instance, which was later extended by another 10 days. This was to allow Nigerians to deposit their old banknotes at the CBN and gradually redeem the new notes. As I have reiterated many times before today, the general practice across the globe is for central banks to redesign national currency within 5 to 8 years. From the onset of this currency redesign program, we made it very clear that for over 19 years, the Central Bank of Nigeria has not been able to undertake this important currency and liquidity management function that has important ramifications for the effectiveness of monetary policy. Why the design? Our principal aim with the currency redesign initiative is to make monetary policy decisions more efficacious, and like you can see, we have started to see inflation trending downwards and exchange is relatively stable. Again, those who doubt us keep arguing about this, but we keep saying that we have data and we'll continue to rely on our data as basis for decision making at the Central Bank of Nigeria. Secondly, we aim to increase financial inclusion in the country by reducing the number of the unbanked population. We've been at the forefront trying to see what can be done to adopt a cashless economy, and this started since 2012. Indeed, the Bill Gates and even Queen Maxima had visited us at some time in 2018, and we gave a commitment that by around the end of 2020 or 2021, that would have moved close to about 80% cashless. Unfortunately, we are still now, or before this policy, at about 60 to 64. We believe that with what we're doing now, we should be able to ramp up cashless. Cashless is something that has gone around practically most of the world today. But unfortunately, we find that in Nigeria, our people still continue to like carrying cash around. Like I said earlier, the cashless policy started in 2012 under my predecessor. Between 2012 or between 2014 and now that I've been governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, we had made at least 5 reversals at our attempts to really deepen cashless and improve the level of financial inclusion in Nigeria.
Now, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele pointed to some facts that I agree to, but the timing is the question that is on ground right now. He talked about Nigeria being on the top 6 of the best, payment structure all over the world, payment system, and that is the truth. If you go to some other parts of the world, the West that you think are much more advanced, you might have to wait for some couple of days before you get a transfer. But in Nigeria, it is instant. Now, that being said, he talked about the ransom, banditry. If there is less cash in the society, I mean physical cash in the society, he claimed that this will put an end or combat or reduce banditry because there will be no cash at hand. There will be track and trace should they request for money. If you as a bandit or a kidnapper cannot have access to cash and you have to transfer, then the account that the money drops, definitely they will be able to track that person, that individual. And apart from that, it will be difficult for that individual to withdraw that money. He said this will reduce banditry and kidnapping, amongst other things that he said, which I see as reasonable. But then, what about the timing? What about the timing? Godwin Emefiele, he has said it clearly that he is not going back on this. He said, if you have your old Naira note with you, you are on your own. He said there are no reasons to the Supreme Court or the governors of states dragging him to the court. He said there are no reasons for this. He said this is transient, and he said that definitely people will feel the pain of this policy since they are not used to it. And he said as time goes on, it will be better. Now, let us be aware that Emefiele will soon be out of office very soon. Very, very soon. And people have linked his political ambition to be president of Nigeria with the, so many that we have seen, billboards and campaign vehicles. And they see this as a target direct that he came up with this at this time. That he should have done this like a year ago. Why did he decide to do this now? Now the elections are on. And the question I ask a majority, although I know that money is needed. Yes, money is needed when you want to, you're campaigning for elections and all of that. But the kind of money that is needed in Nigeria, I see majority of it, percentage of it, higher percentage of it as corrupt money, vote buying. Do you know why it is easy? Hunger has been weaponized. They've made sure that people are lower there. Psychologically, they have made people low. They have made people poor. So when someone offer you a bag of this, a bag of that, a pack of noodles, this and that, and money, you quickly want to jump because you are not sure. People have been weakened. The people have been weakened with killings, maiming. A lot of things have happened to people. They have become so weak. So it's now about if you want to die, face the government. That is what it is. If you want to die, face the government. And what are these government? Some few wicked people who have some other much more wicked people with guns and weapons. That is just what it is. What are your thoughts? Let us listen more. Do not forget to like and share this video.
The reason we did those was because we felt that there was a need for us to deepen a payment system infrastructure. And I know, and we have facts to support the fact that the payment system infrastructure in Nigeria is amongst the best 6 in the world today. So we believe that we have put in place enough infrastructure that will help us attain or achieve the cashless policy that we do aim to attain in line with global best practices. You are all foreign dignitaries representing your countries in Nigeria. And you know, and you will agree with me, that the level at which people carry cash in Nigeria is unacceptable. In your countries, you do not carry cash anyhow. When you carry cash and you are seen, you are questioned. You are questioned and you are profiled continuously. We want to look like your country. And that is the reason why I'm saying Nigeria, being the largest economy in Africa, Nigeria with the largest population in Africa, really must really go cashless. And we are delighted at the Central Bank of Nigeria that with the support of President Muhammadu Buhari, we would achieve this. We know that at these initial stages, Nigerians will go through some what we call temporary pains. And we call it transient. Transient because there will be normal pains that will come with those kind of shocks. Indeed, I must describe this shock as unprecedented. And that is why I would continue to appeal to everybody, Nigerians, and those of you who constitute our diplomatic community, to give us all the needed support for us to achieve this objective. We want our country to look like your country, and we will continue to seek your support for us to be like you. In the area of cashless, in the area of doing things where people handle money the way they should handle cash, and not handle them for illicit purposes. Thirdly, our aim is to support the effort of our security agencies in combating banditry and ransom taking in Nigeria through this program. And we can see that the military are making good progress in this important task. Available data at the Central Bank of Nigeria showed that in 2015, currency in circulation was just 1.4 trillion naira. As at October 2022, currency in circulation had risen, indeed, more than doubled to over 3.2 trillion naira, out of which only 500 billion was within the banking system and 2.72 trillion held in people's homes. And let me, I would say, because I said this in a few, just some, and I will reveal this maybe in my private discussion with the president and with the EFCC chairman sitting. And I was telling the president, Mr. President, do you know why currency in circulation more than doubled? He said, no, tell me why. I said, it's because of this young man, the EFCC chairman. The EFCC chairman looked at me, and I said, in the last 5-6 years, we have, Central Bank of Nigeria came up with a policy where we said that banks must report what is called suspicious transactions. Suspicious transactions, once there's cash transaction or even electronic transactions that go beyond a particular threshold, banks must report them as suspicious transactions. And what happened is that when suspicious transactions are reported by banks to the NFIU, the EFCC and ICPC are obligated to pick those suspicious transactions and investigate them. But of course, what we found is that in the course of investigating them, those who felt that they were being investigated for those suspicious transactions began to abandon the banks and began to build vaults in their homes. That is the reason we've seen currency outside the banking industry at 2.72 trillion out of 3.23 trillion. This is unacceptable. We want a situation where the Central Bank of Nigeria is in firm control of money supply. And like I keep saying, we have our data. The Central Bank of Nigeria, I'm proud to say, is a resource center. We have our data, and we work with data on the basis of which we reach our decisions. And that's why I keep saying that we cannot continue to have a situation where 2.72 trillion out of 3.23 trillion naira is in people's homes. You will not allow it in your country. You have to be in charge. Your Fed or your central bank must be in full control of currency circulation. So decisions they take on monetary policy, whether they want a tight monetary policy or whether they want a loose monetary policy, can be efficacious when they say this is direction, everything flows in that direction, not a situation when they say go in the right direction, people go in the left, because there are people who are holding tons of cash in their homes to undermine monetary policy. It can work. So we need a country so that we can truly be able to direct the economy in the way that we think it should be.
Now, let us pause a bit before we continue. I'm sure the question on the minds of a lot of people is this: why are there so much queues at the ATM points, banks, and why is it that the central bank mopped more than what they have released? That is the question. But Godwin Emefiele has an answer to this, and he will not fail to point out certain unscrupulous, according to him, elements in the society who have hoarded so much money. I do not know if he counts himself as part of these unscrupulous elements in this our society. Well, Emefiele himself has not been clean of allegations of fraud, crime, and a lot that has been attached to him as a person. He has done some dealings, according to investigators, journalists. They've dug deeper. Sahara reporters did something, and they did a work on him. There was an audio that was released showing what he has been doing in office and how he has been liaising with certain cabals to defraud Nigeria, to engage in unscrupulous activities. So where does he keep his own money? I know he is a central bank governor. He has access to certain, he has certain privileges. He can open an account anywhere abroad, hide money in Panama, and probably stash money. And if he is the one behind change of currency, it means that he will definitely have money to change, you see, as far as it is. You see, now who is watching Emefiele? Of course, the legislators are supposed to be in charge, and some other committee, financial committee. But unfortunately, this is not working as it should be. Well, Emefiele has something to say more, and I want us to listen to him. Do not forget, like, share.
Why are we seeing queues and the pressure? Before concluding this brief remark, let me state, and sadly too, that we acknowledge the widespread inconveniences due to this policy. We have observed pervasive incidents of hoarding and predatory activities of some vendors and unscrupulous Nigerians. The principal causes of the hardship to the citizens following the redesign include hoarding. We have noticed that some members of the public are hoarding the new Naira notes, thereby restricting their flow through the economy. We repeat, cash kept at homes will not circulate, but may fuel a perception of scarcity, which leads to higher demand for the currency, signaling to those who do not have an urgent or immediate need to store the same cash. Tension and elevated agitation. There is, before I go to tension, on hoarding, what we did, we tried as much as possible to make sure that we make this available in a way that it goes around equitably to all Nigerians. But we found some unscrupulous activities by some people. And I will not be too direct, but of course, when people who don't own bank accounts begin to go and stay in queue, they wake up 4 a.m., 2 a.m. to go and stay in the queue for the ATM. And then when it gets to their turn, they sell their turn and go back again and start queuing again. And in a day, he could do that 4 times and then end up to between 8 to 10,000 naira. Instead of going to do his petty business, what he's doing is he's found this as an opportunity to begin to make money. Then those who buy it from them, who are predominantly what we call our POS agents, agents that we thought should help us also deepen financial inclusion, are getting involved in this kind of unfortunate, unscrupulous activities. And we have told the EFCC, the ICPC, working with our CBN monitoring team, to arrest any POS agent that charges any fee, because we had made it clear that whatever is their fee, which is not meant to be more than 200 naira for any amount you exchange, that we in Central Bank, we will pay as part of the cost to lessen the burden of this problem. And let me make it clear, and I'm sure the press is listening to me, we started to arrest them. We will prosecute them, and they will go to jail for getting involved in illegal activity and making our work difficult. We are trying to make things good for our country. We cannot allow even some of our countrymen who want to get involved in illegal and illicit kind of businesses to truncate our efforts and in making the country a good place. They will be arrested. We've seen videos of people who are also stamping money on people in parties, and we have said it is illegal. The law, it is there in our law that it is illegal to stamp money. Those who have been caught, they will go to jail, because we need to do things right as a country. They have to go to jail so that that can set the example that we must be law-abiding citizens in our country. We should not take advantage of situations to create pain for people who genuinely want to conduct economic activity in the country. On tension and elevated agitation, there is tremendous tension and elevated agitation by our leaders who should be calming frayed nerves by the citizens. We believe that a large proportion of these agitations are staged, they are sponsored propaganda, or an exaggeration of the reality. No doubt, there are pockets of pressures in some areas. The CBN is working hard to shift pressure, to shift resources to those areas in order to ease the tension. The situation is substantially calming down since the commencement of the over-the-counter payment to complement ATM disbursements and the use of super agents. There is therefore no need to consider any shift from the deadline of February the 10th. Panic queues. The CBN has also noticed long queues at some bank ATMs and banking halls. While some of these withdrawals requests are genuine, some are simply the irreprehensible activities of miscreants who do not have the genuine intention of making a withdrawal, but are seeking quick earnings by queuing up just to sell their space for money. Panic mop-off of notes. The CBN has also noticed that some of our leaders are buying the notes and storing them for whatever purposes. I will not be direct here. Incidents of economic optimism. We have also noticed that some Nigerians are capitalizing on the transition to charge exorbitant fees. I talked about that for the POS. These selfish actions for personal monetary gains are creating hardship for Nigerians and may come at the expense of fellow citizens' lives and livelihood. In concluding my remark, let me say that the CBN reiterates the availability of an appropriate and optimal amount of currency of both the 500, 200, and 1,000 denominations, and even the existing 150, 20, to support economic activities. We will continue to issue and circulate new notes, but the truth is that when we get to our optimal level or get to a level that we believe even is slightly above our optimal level, we will seek to put in place policies that will make sure that people must not keep monies in their homes. They must return them back. If you don't return them back, we will do what we need to do to make sure you don't store those monies. Or when you store them, they will be useless in the vaults that you have built in your homes. We are mindful of the challenges some citizens have faced and are addressing them. There have been reports of occasional failures in e-channel platforms, and our monitoring suggests that whilst there has been An expected surge in electronic transactions, these have not risen to unprecedented levels, and the payment system is well equipped to handle even higher transaction volumes. Whilst transactions failures are bound to occasionally occur, the public is encouraged to have full confidence in Nigeria's globally recognized payment system infrastructure. Banks have also been instructed to ensure 24/7 service availability and promptly address any customer refunds arising from such service failures. We remain committed to ensuring a seamless, inclusive, and equitable implementation of this exercise for the overall benefit and the good of our people, the financial system, and the Nigerian economy as a whole. I thank you all.
The governor has spoken, and we can see that he is resolute, he is determined to go on with this implementation. Well, let us see, because right now 10 governors, they are majorly APC governors, 10 governors from the north and from the south of Nigeria. They have joined forces, and they have dragged the federal government, dragged CBN to the court. They want the Supreme Court to put an end to this difficulty. According to them, they want an extension of the swapping of the old Naira notes. And well, we know what this is all about anyway, but the majority of the pain that is being felt right now is you, the citizen. Governors, it might disturb a little bit of their transaction, but it will not necessarily, overwhelm them, because according to Emefiele, he knows this quite right. He said these governors, these politicians, have already gotten the new currency. They stashed it. That is why it is no longer in circulation. So what do you do about this? It means that your policy has failed. You expected the banks to quickly disburse. How is that possible? Will people quickly go to the bank to stash the new currency in their homes? Does it work that way? It doesn't work that way. That is the truth. That's the reality. The person who wants to stash has enough to collect, to stash. And these politicians have stolen a lot. Business people have stolen a lot. I mean, those attached to the politicians. So they have access to this cash. It's quite unfortunate. It's so unfortunate. But he has stayed resolute. He said, that pain, you must feel it. Emefiele's children live abroad. They are not feeling the pain of what you are going through in Nigeria. This is where we are. We need to open our minds and brains and stop being one-sided. Let us see this in a balanced form. Let us see ourselves as super beings, not as they have decided to, reduce the people, reduce their thoughts, reduce their mind. This is not about party anymore. It's about your right, your well-being as a person. Like I've highlighted, all of these politicians, yes, a little might affect them in a certain way, but they have access. Millions of the new Naira notes, they have access to it. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment section. Do not forget to like and share this video. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel if you're new here. Like and share this video. See you in the next.
I say a very big thank you to those who have taken time to subscribe to this channel. And if you're yet to subscribe, kindly tap on that subscription button and also the red bell icon so you will be notified whenever videos such as this are uploaded.